We're in Santiago, Chile for round number 13 of season 16. It's Kari on pole from Marcus Nelson and Daf Sanchez. Iwold starts 4th, then it's Michael Novikov and Santino Milan. Ravo starts 7th, the 7 is 7th, and it's Milrez, Sebastian Ocampo and P. Sierra. Dash Chantan starts 11th from Daniel Bogsarov and Yuki Suo. Then it's Leo and Ionet Thabnis, and then UK Ball, Chiclerk, and Enoch Huey. For the last 4 drivers on the grid, we've got Camino, Rigazzoni, T. Gabo, and lastly, it's Tommy. On your front row, you've got the Season 15 champion and the Season 9 champion. Neither of them look to win this championship. Oh, but let's go on. They're going to have a great race down to turn 1. The lights go out. We're racing in Santiago, Chile. And that's a very, very nice start from the front two. Unlike Tablet, which is currently experiencing a seizure. So Nelson on the inside line, he's going to try and send it. They've collided. Nelson 5 seconds time penalty and spinning. That is Milrez, championship contender Milrez. It's a long way away from turn 2, and there's a little bit of a blockade there. Suo colliding and somewhat rubbing against Sebastian Ocampo. You can see how much a blockade can really harm drivers. Milrez drops way down the order. He's down to 17th now. There's a lot of gaps being made then. Suo, Plavnis, and Sanchez, all the drivers to start on the hard compound of tyres. But out in front, it is Akari leading the way, which he hasn't done in a long time. Pinnacle Motorsport really need a lot of wins and soon, considering how they understand that they cannot really win the regular season championship. They can try and take the playoffs. They will probably not win the regular season. They're currently outside of the top 10 who will advance to the playoffs. As Yuki Suo, that's not Suo, it is Suo fighting with Ocampo. Right now it's not. There's a red. That is Suo fighting with Sierra. Sorry, I thought I was seeing someone else fight with a different driver. Iwold to P2. Look at that from the number 21 Mercedes car, very deep into that turn. Santino Milan. A lot of drivers going very deep up the hill. Well, it's what happens when your car suddenly has a loss of grip and bottoms out. Rigazzoni, 5 second time penalty. Track's been cleared. And I don't know what that was about. Gabo definitely was the man involved with that. But a very weird, brief 5 second time penalty. Yellow flag period, sorry. But now Iwold free to chase after one of the most well-known drivers in recent history, and the fact that he's only been here for 4 seasons tells you a lot about him. Marcus Nelson, however, right on the back of Iwold, one of only a handful of drivers here who have competed in over 10 seasons of the Formula E Monoposto Championship. But can he close in on Iwold? He's not really close enough in that red and yellow App Sportsline car. Got to really try and find somewhere to get past instead of just send it wherever he feels like it. And I think going up the hill is a very good place to start. Akari fastest lap, a 1:20.633 as we now ascend the climb here in Santiago. But he's not quite close enough to get past. Ocampo comes into the pits, so that's why there was yellow flags. Sebastian Ocampo, the season 14 champion, has lost his front wing as we ascend the hill with UK while making the climb. Tommy new fastest lap in 21st position, and that's August Rigazzoni setting it down the inside very deep. He's gone, and it's 19th for the Argentine driver. As you can see, Gabo also still fighting, getting past and retaking 19th. So Rigazzoni getting literally 15 seconds of a position. Iwold nowhere near Akari. I think Akari might even have this race wrapped up before it's really even started. Ravo on the back of Daf Sanchez. We do have on the forecast a 60% chance of rain. So there is a chance that we do get some dry to wet racing, but it's not very likely. Ravo trying to close in on Daf Sanchez, get past and take 5th, very wide for the championship leader who comes into the pits. That's iWorld and Akari also in with him. They're all going on to mediums. And has he had to be held only for a second to try and get Boxstar up ahead. They're all down to safety regulations, nothing more and nothing less. So let's take a look at all of this. Let's see, where does Ravo come out of the pits? He comes out here. And does he try and go for any sort of moves? No real moves trying to be made, just taking the regular line coming out of the pits. And of course, by doing that, you do compromise your exit coming through turn number 1. Ocampo's coming out of the pits and he's 20th. So of course, not brilliant. As you can see, Ucable and Regazzoni both coming out of the pits, but it is Marcus Nelson leading the way with a 5-second time penalty from Santino Milan, Dav Sanchez, Leo, and P. Sierra. And P. Sierra is going to have his race absolutely tarnished, if you ask me, because he's going to have to stay out one extra lap on sides that can't do 5 laps. Those softs can't do 5 laps, but Nissan aren't going to double stack, are they? Pretty sure I saw an overtake on the timing tag, but I definitely missed it. Milan trying to close in as much as he can, and Yellow's in the third sector, and that is further down the order. That is not Ravo, that is David Camino without his front wing. But Ravo, championship leader, caught up in that as well. Didn't make contact with him, but you can see struggling for grip. A lot of drivers are, because they've not really come into the pits recently. Camino, he's definitely going to struggle coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Definitely track limits warning. The fact that he didn't collide, that was absolutely magnificent. But he has had to come into the pits now. P. Sierra being hounded by Akari. Man, he started on pole. And he's going to have to try and get past him now. Does he? Get past is the main question at hand. He's going to have a very good chance coming down the main straight. So here we go with attack mode active now. Blasting down. And into second place is Akari ahead of P. Sierra, who on 22% tire wear is definitely going to have F-Zero right behind him as well. And of course, with that, he's going to have low grip. So the man currently in third, he's going to have to try and get himself into the pits as quickly as possible, or else something like hitting the wall could happen. Almost happened for him. Suro's going to get past us quite quickly. You got Suro to the outside, the Japanese number 19, then it's the Japanese team. And this on and out of the race goes Yuki Suro, riding the wall. P. Sierra in the barriers, missing his front wing, facing the wrong direction. Virtual safety car called as out goes Yuki Suro. As that is definitely not how either driver would have wanted that altercation to have gone. Into the pits comes P. Sierra. Milrez also into the pits, but Iron Babness as well. So Ravo going up the hill now. Virtual safety car is ending. Oh, still got virtual because Milrez and Sierra both out of the race in the pits. That is a championship contender out of the race in pit lane. So 3 drivers out, unsure of how they collided. And within, the pits. But they must have just retired the cars. They definitely would have retired Sierra's car because he went airborne. But for Milrez, not too sure what would have happened there. Alright, we're getting word now from App Sportsline. It was a drivetrain issue. They were monitoring a drivetrain issue. And they had to pull the car in. Unfortunately for Milrez, who's trying to stage a championship challenge. But currently, in terms of the World Drivers' Championship, Ravo is currently standing on top, 60 points ahead of Milrez. He's going to extend that championship lead if he can finish in the points. But it has still been an absolutely amazing season so far. And with 7 races after this one, we just hope you continue to watch us every step of the way. Daf Sanchez starts half race distance in the lead of the Prix, 72. That's his car number, but with Akari chasing him down. But he's going to have to make another pit stop. Sanchez might be in a very good place currently to try and take a race win. As we see Marcus Nelson on the back of iWorld. Can he try and get past? I don't think he can. Not quite yet. I do know he's got the faster tires, but I don't think he's gonna have the best opportunity unless he tries and gets it down the straight. We see Iron at Babness switching back on August Regazzoni. He's gonna have a very good shot if he just didn't outbrake himself there, almost getting brake checked by August. That's there in the number 24. It's 24 versus 14. As here comes Regazzoni on the season 14 champion. He's having fights with two 14s, and he's going to win both of them. Down the inside goes August Regazzoni, into the wall goes August Regazzoni, and hit by Lawless Leclerc as August Regazzoni, facing the wrong direction, is Sebastian Ocampo. Yellows in the second sector. And that is not how you want to overtake the car, boys. That's not how you overtake. Ocampo, I'm pretty sure, was already turning in and was just locked out of making the overtake. Gabo and Tommy able to capitalize on that, getting 15th and 16th. Akari coming into the pits for his second stop. Sanchez into the pits for his first stop. So that is now Iwold leading the race from Marcus Nelson. But for how much longer? He's not sending it down the inside, is he? You know he does not. Almost just definitely would have outbraked himself if he tried to. So good thing he didn't. Sanchez and Akari coming out of the pits in 5th and 6th. And Arcu, he currently following them through. Ravo currently in the pits, coming out of the pits. He's going to be outside of the top 10. So, of course, today doesn't seem to be a high-scoring day for either Hyperdrive man. As here comes Marcus Nelson for the race lead. Setting it down the inside, very wide. A lot of weaving, comical weaving there for Marcus Nelson, who takes the lead here in Santiago, Chile. Ahead of Iwold and Santino Milan. That's the top 3 currently. I doubt that's how it's going to finish, considering the nature of this race. We've got 6 laps to go. For Marcus Nelson, it is 5 1/3 laps. But Iwold currently, you can see the aerodynamics on that Mercedes. We barely talk about what the teams are allowed to design, which are the side pods and an engine cover. Iwold track limits warning. You can see a lot of drivers struggling with grip here, as there goes Dav Sanchez to 4th position, but the top 3 are onto the pit, so Sanchez leads the race on lap 9 of 14. Dav Sanchez, after the horror story of last time out in Hong Kong, where he had to retire with a mechanical failure, as out goes Akari! Akari out of the E-Prix! Virtual safety car called. That's a massive shunt coming through turn 1. My goodness me, that was uncalled for. No one expected that incident to happen there, but it's a virtual safety car on lap 9 of 14. Sanchez leads away from Leon. As I was talking about the horror story of MS Hamlin and Andretti from last time out, looks like new ones are being written for Aurelio Pinnacle this time out. Heading up the hill with Sebastian Ocampo. And also into the wall! Season 14 champion, Sebastian Ocampo, massive shunt! And out of the race he has gone. So it's going to be another non-finish for the season 14 champion. And for MS Hamlin Andretti, their past 2 weekends have gone from bad to absolutely terrible. Considering that they were the last 2 cars to retire from this race and are currently leading this race 1-2, it's a little bit of a good and bad weekend for both teams. A lot of off-track excursions. We've seen a lot of them. Leo coming into the pits then, but Sanchez opting to stay out as we rise up the hill into turn 1. 4 laps to go. Clean entry, thankfully for him. But now, Iwold right on the back, out of the race. Lawless Leclerc out of the E-Prix. Oh, where was that? That was coming out of this turn. Lost grip. Lost drive coming out of that turn we hear. And hit the wall. That's really, really not what you want to lose drive. My goodness, we've seen a lot of cars retire today. But as the virtual safety car ends, iWorld's going to have a very good shot at getting past the Season 9 champion in Marcus Nelson. We have on the grid the Season 9 champion in Marcus Nelson, the Season 15 and 14 champions in Akari and Ocampo. We have the Season 10 champion in UK Ball, with the Season 5 and other season champions not being on the grid. This is a championship that may have some great racing, but it has often had dominance errors, as there goes an Arcuri on the championship leader currently. The currently uncrowned king is Ravo, most experienced driver on the grid, but no championships to show for it. Bogdasarov getting ahead of Vashi-Chan there, who's now under threat from Ravo. And facing the wrong direction, spin for Vashi-Chan. How has that happened for him? Yellow's in the third sector, he's facing the right direction again. How has he spun it? That is an utterly unusual place to spin your car, but it has happened. Rising up the hill then with Marcus Nelson, grazing the wall of the top two. It's a lot of, well, as some people would say, squeaky bum moment, and coming through there as into the pits comes Vashi-Chan, going on to mediums, which will see him to the end of the E3. High tire wear here in Santiago, Chile. Bogdasarov currently 8th position, and he's trying to close in on the man who's hoping to win the season's championship in Ravo. And he's the man who's going to have to make a pit stop pretty soon. Same with Daf Sanchez, in fact. I would be very surprised if they didn't come into the pits, because if they didn't, they'd be in big trouble when it came to their tires. And some may even say they'd be in deep shit. As we see Sanchez going on to the blue stuff. You don't want to stay on those, you want to stay on the grey. Into the pits he comes. On board with Sanchez, he should maintain the lead of the C3. Leo and Santino Milan fighting out of the race. Goes Santino Milan, very big crash. Airborne he went. And he's out of the C3 too, alongside his teammate. Marcus Nelson is going to take the lead of the E3. Sanchez, Leo and Iwell all coming in for soft tyres. And Sanchez, he can try and overtake Marcus Nelson on this lap, very wide. A lot of drivers coming into the pits for their pit stops. But Babin is staying out as well. Staying out is Aina Babin, the man who could have won the Season 7 championship if not for 2 bad races at the end of that season. He could have been a champion. Still chasing for his first one, and I don't think he's going to get it this season. Daf Sanchez, however, currently second. He's not got attack mode on Marcus Nelson with 2 laps to go. Virtual safety car, full course yellow, as that is Vashi-Chan and August Regazzoni colliding into the wall. Has gone August Regazzoni. That's a very usual accident around this track, and it's unfortunate that that's taken out Vashi-Chan. Regazzoni still in this race. He's hoping to try and get to the pits. Marcus Nelson, another driver, hoping to get into the pits, because this man, Daf Sanchez, right on his tail with fresher tyres as we go back racing. He's going to be right on his back if he doesn't come in. You can see how much he struggles. And into the pits comes Marcus Nelson. Sanchez takes the lead. Michael Novikov coming into the pits. Not even coming into the pits. He's got damage, and out of the race has gone Novikov. Next, Evie Neo retires from the race. That's one of the 2. The other one currently in 12th then. Marcus Nelson coming in. Sanchez going up the hill. Penultimate lap of the Prix started. And look at the amount of drivers we have left in the race. We've only got 13 still in this one. Babinus coming in. Gabo does come in alongside David Camino. So Ravo currently up to 6th, we believe. Is that 6th position for Ravo? Yes, it is. It is 6th position. The man hoping to take his first ever World Drivers' Championship. Very deep into that turn. They both go. That's an Ocui and Ravo going through. But you can see the amount of skill you need to drive these cars. Motorsport is a sport because it requires skill and it's very competitive. I don't understand why people just say, oh, motorsports is driving cars or riding bikes a lot. And I'm sitting here like, using modes of transport competitively and being at the peak of your physical capabilities while doing it is a motorsport. It is a sport. Cycling is a sport. Therefore, MotoGP is a sport. IndyCar and Formula 1 and all other forms of motorsport are still sport. NASCAR is entertainment, technically. It's a sport pretending to be entertainment, as we are on to the final lap of this Prix. Daf Sanchez leading the way from Leo and Iworld. MS Hamlin Andretti looking to try and take a race win. It's all going to come down to these last laps, as Marcus Nelson ahead of Iworld. Can't take a look at them. He can now. There is Iworld right on the back. He's going to get a better chance going down that back straight. Is the number 21 car. Bogdasarov in the wall. I was going to say Bogdasarov was doing well, but he's just hit the wall. He's lost his front wing. So, of course, he's going to struggle for traction coming through the finals, coming through the end of this first sector. And, of course, at the start of the second sector, there's a very big airborne risk if you ain't got the grip for it. But thankfully, Bogdasarov does just about have enough grip to go through there fine. So he's still going to hold on to 7th, but it's going to be very close. What hasn't been too close has been this man's race. Daf Sanchez in the number 72 car. It's been a long time coming for MS Hamlin Andretti. It's been a long time coming for a Philippine driver in Season 16. But coming through the final turn here in Santiago, Daf Sanchez wins the Santiago Prix and sets a new fastest lap alongside it. Leo is going to come home in second. Marcus Nelson third on the road, but it'll be Iworld coming home with a podium. And Marcus Nelson fastest lap, taking that from Daf Sanchez. Is Iworld will be fourth on the road. Then it's Inocui, and look at this, Ravo somehow still getting sixth after all of that carnage. Bogdasarov seventh, and it's a basic tie between UK born Tommy. Then it's Ina Bamnes. It's Gabo Camino setting a new fastest lap of 1:16 dead, and August Regazzoni, who we will ride on board with now, or maybe not, thanks TV directors. And this is the podium then. Daf Sanchez wins here in Santiago from Leo and Iworld. We're seeing two Philippine flags on the podium like it's seasons 13, 14, and 15. But sadly, it's not really for the championship at this point. It's being dominated by an Italian currently. Marcus Nelson is fourth from Inocui and Revo. Then it's Daniel Bogdasarov, UK Ball, and Tommy, the top 9. Then it's Ina Bamnes, it's T. Gabo, David Camino, August Regazzoni. Your finishers, your non-finishers were Michael Novikov, Sebastian Tan, Santino Milan, Wallace Leclerc, Akari, Sebastian Ocampo, P. Sierra, Neil Rez, and Yuki Tsuo. In the driver's standings, Ravo leads the way from Neil Rez and David Camino. Then it's Tommy, Daniel Bogdasarov, August Regazzoni, Wallace Leclerc, UK World, Daf Sanchez is 10th, tied with his teammates, and Santino Milan ahead of him. Marcus Nelson making that a three-way tie for 10th. When we go into the playoffs, if there are ties for positions, all of those drivers will make it into the playoffs. So currently, we're looking at a 12-car playoff, which would actually probably be quite exciting. Then you've got Yuki Tsuo, Leo, and Akari, and Inocui, Ina Bamnes, Michael Novikov, of Iworld, P. Sierra, T. Gabo, and Sebastian Tan. So in the constructors standings heading into the next round of the championship, Hyperdrive Racing lead the way from Ab Sportsline and Born GP Honda, and it's Next EV Neo 1 point ahead of Toyota Gazoo Racing. That's MS Hamlin Andretti, Aurelio Pinnacle, Mercedes Formula E Team, Nissan Nismo, Virgin Renault, and Mahindra. We'll see you guys next time then when the Formula E Monoposto Championship returns.